Okay, it's time to start. I can see that there still are popping in some people. Please let us know if you don't have hear us, but you should be able to, because we have colleagues in the background checking the audio. So, and it's very nice to see that so many have taken the time. This will be like our second kind of this customer success program, or we can call it education or whatever. So that the idea is to have this kind of sessions every now and then when we feel like a topic is important, or if we get any questions from you guys. We have like a 45 to an hour minutes, a bit of a training for a part of SDP. So please make sure that you guys sign up for the newsletter on our website, so you don't miss anything out that we are doing. Probably not now, but now it's the summertime starting here, but maybe in the fall we will come back with some nice topics. Please, this is also a session so you can ask questions. Hopefully we have time in the end to answer them, and if we don't, we just go back to you guys by email afterwards, or a call or something like that. That's enough for me, from Eric from Inuit. Santos, you can make the introduction and hand over to you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you all again. So this is our second webinar that I'm doing with Inuit. So it's nice to see you again. Hope you're all staying safe, taking good care of yourselves. And the motto of this webinars is primarily to do the education part, so customers do know what ManageEngine does, what are the features we have, what are the integrations we do. And again, we do work with Inuit very closely, and we do all these trainings, webinars alongside with them. So it's a very good way for us to get in touch with customers. So with no further delay and with like a lot of enthusiasm, I'm going to go into today's session. Just so you all know, please feel free to ask any questions anytime on the chat window, and I'll be happy to answer them. And there is a handout that has been added over there. You can download that for your reference. So it's basically today's presentation that's been added as an handout. All right, so I'm just gonna turn off the camera so that most of the space would be shown for the presentation. So I hope you guys are still able to see my screen and everything is clear. If there's anything, just let me know. Perfect. All right, so today we are going to see ServiceDesk Plus integration with Microsoft services. All right, now how does the remote work is helping everyone? How is remote work helping everyone? So when we look at it, it's kind of a challenge because you basically have your business applications and your productivity tools, such as your Teams, Outlook, you have SAML configurations, your calendar. So you have all of them on one silo. And on the other side, you have your IT service management tools like ServiceDesk Plus or other applications. So let me quickly check why there's a pop-up. Okay, so everything is visible. All right. So you have these two applications on different silos, and the only challenge is that they don't talk to each other. What will happen when these two applications do not communicate or talk with each other? So that was where you have your problems coming in. And with integration of ServiceDesk Plus with your with your Microsoft-based solutions, you have a frictionless workflow, a contextual integration between two applications, and at the end of the day, you deliver a great employee experience. So that is exactly what we all want, right? So, and that is what this particular integration is gonna help us with, all right? And here is an agenda of what we are going to see today. Basically, we are going to see what are the integration capabilities that ServiceDesk Plus offers out of the box with other Microsoft solutions, such as Teams, actionable messages from your Outlook emails, And you have your calendar integration. And on top of that, just so you all know, we support SAML SSO and EWS offerings. All right, so we're just going to take a quick look at this. And the first one is going to be our integration with Microsoft Teams. Now, when you integrate ServiceDesk Plus with Microsoft Teams, your chat and your unified console becomes an added advantage. So basically from the Teams, you could do chat, you could also view your tickets in one place. You could just literally do that all in one login, and you could just work collaboratively. So you don't need to switch between multiple applications like your Service Desk and Teams, and also you could like view your tickets and perform chat operations. You could get prompt updates on your tickets. So whatever you do between the teams, it gets updated into your Service Desk Plus application seamlessly. And also right from within Teams, the end users or even the technicians can perform a couple of operations such as like adding notes, picking up a ticket. You could like reply to tickets, which gets updated into your help desk solution. Then chat. The end user can initiate a chat right from Teams into the help desk application, and the help desk technician who's working on Service Desk Plus can collaboratively communicate. So everyone would now know, would still be wondering how an on-premises solution like Service Desk Plus integrates with Teams. Well, that is what the magic is. The integration does all these benefits seamlessly when you are trying to integrate these two solutions from one place. All right. And finally, like you could also take approval, like view your pending approvals and just switch over to the approval action. So these are all quick updates that we are going to see in today's session. And here is a couple of prerequisites that needs to be enabled, such as your services should be running on HTTPS and is publicly accessible, and it should be a verified domain too. All right. And all these integrations, the roles required is there in the handouts. So make sure you utilize them. And also you could know what are the operations that we support. All right, so they are all part of the handouts. And I'm going to take you to the demo right now. So in the demo, I'm just going to switch my desktops and we are right here. So here is Service Desk Plus, and I've logged in as a requester. All right, and here is my Teams. So the first thing I wanted to do is that in Teams, you all know that the Teams is primarily used for chat. And over here, I'm not going to talk about how the integration is done. I'm just going to only talk about what you could do when you just do the integration. So with the integration done, I have my Service Desk Plus app available on Teams on the left-hand side panel. I could just use that. And once after I use that, all I need to do is that I need to start using my Teams. So first things first is like, I'm just going to use the / commands to initiate a chat. So the moment I do these commands, what happens is that Teams is going to talk to my Service Desk Plus. So I'm just going to, and again, the / commands are how it's supposed to be. So there should not be any spaces. And the chat is only available for the end user. So I'm an end user and I need some assistance right now. So I am going to initiate chat. But before that, I'm just going to revoke my access. So this way, like if you're a requester or a technician, you're logged out. And then I'm like doing the command. So once I hit the command, it would ask me to sign up with my Service Desk Plus account. So when I initiate the commands, it's now going to ask me to log into Service Desk Plus. So when I sign in with Microsoft, since I've already logged in into Service Desk Plus as a requester over here, it is automatically going to verify myself. So if you are working on 2 consecutive browsers, make sure it's always like Service Desk Plus login, and on the same browser, if you log into Teams, it's quite easy. Since I'm a requester, I get this option chat with technicians. I say I wanted to do the chat. Now raise an incident or request a service. Right now it redirects you to Service Desk Plus. And with this chat, let's see what's happening. So Richard Green initiated a chat, And here is the chat that is being initiated to the technician. So the technician picks up the chat and says, "Hi, Richard, how can I help you?" So this is a two-way communication between ServiceDesk Plus and your teams. So Santa has replied back saying, "Hi, Richard, how can I help you? I need a new laptop." So pretty sure no one is going to ask this over the Teams. But again, the communication happens. "Please raise a ticket." Then the response comes back. Then I'm going to reply, "Can you do it for me?" So what happens now is that the technician is getting back and forth responses. And at a point when the technician says like, "Okay, I could do it for you," all the technician could say is like, "Okay, I will create the ticket and I am closing the chat." Got it. Now, what happens? The requester communicated what he or she needs. The ticket is now like going to be created by the technician. So close and create a request. So I could choose what templates I want. So I could say between the incident and the technician service templates, I could just choose which template I want. I can say close and create a ticket. The end user initiated a chat with the technician in ServiceDesk Plus through Teams. The chat communication happened, the ticket is created, all your chat transcripts are taken into consideration, and the request is now being processed for Richard Green. How simple is this? So this is one collaborative option that you could do between ServiceDesk Plus and Teams. Just like that, you could perform all other operations. So as you could see, here are a lot of these commands over here. You could literally go ahead and say, if you want to end chat, you could go ahead and end the chat. But since that the technician has ended the chat, the update came back saying that the chat has been ended. Now, just like that, I could also log out from this console and I could log in as a technician. So I'm just going to log out from here and I'm going to log in as a technician. So this way the privileges would change. So as you could see, this is all SAML's configuration. We are going to discuss about that later. Now, to revoke, if I do this command, obviously my requester login would no longer work. I've logged in as a technician, so all I have to do is just say pending, and I get my list of commands. I just say pending approval, so it has to get itself verified. So it's just gonna ask sign in with Microsoft. It's very seamless, all right? It's absolutely seamless. The authentication happened. And now, as you can see over here, I'm a technician. So I get my list of pending tickets, incident and service tickets. Here is my pending approval command. So there is one ticket that is waiting for pending approval. Let me just do it again. So you get to see how the crisp view works. So it's literally gonna bring up your ticket. And right from here, you could just access the ticket of Richard Green and start working on it. So this is how the slash commands work. So as we saw, you could like have a seamless collaboration between teams and service desks through chat. You could also work between tickets. So I just click on it. It takes me to my service desk ticket and exactly to the approval segment. All right. So it is quite seamless. So all slash command support, all these slash command features, you could literally perform right from within ServiceDesk Plus, right from within Teams, and you can make use of it. Now, not just this particular operation. So I could literally go ahead and say view all requests or view my open requests, and it's still the same thing. You could like get a list of these things populated from Teams itself. You could like access all of them, and it's going to open a new tab. You could switch between these like tickets. You could also switch between instances if you have ESM. So that's something you could easily do with chat. Now, the collaborative view is something we need to try it out. So right within my Teams, I can bring my request view. And when I bring in my request view, if I'm a requester or a technician, based on my access, I have a lot of operations that I can perform. It is amazing. So right from within ServiceDesk Plus, all right, within Teams, I could pick up a ticket, I can assign to someone else, I could like merge, link, I could do all of this operation. And just so you know, this ticket over here, I can add a note from my Teams, all right? I could just save and add a note. And this note that I've added, all right, as Santa who's logged into Teams, it comes right into my ticket as well. So here is my same ticket. And I'm just refreshing this ticket so that we could see the notes that's been added. So it's quite seamless between Teams and ServiceDesk Plus. So all I could do is just sit with my Microsoft Teams because we are all super busy. We have a lot of these things coming up. And as you can see, the note is added over here. And if I just go, the note is right here on my ticket. That's how easy it is. And as you could see here, there are like certain things filled in. The ticket has been assigned to Santa. If I update the site or group on this ticket, all right, it is instantly going to be visible for visible in Teams. So this is how it works. So I've updated it, and these details will now be updated right into my Teams over here. So just like that, right from within Teams and right from within ServiceDesk Plus, I could make all these updates, and it's going to get synced both ways. All right. And the group that I just designed is reflecting over here. And now if I just go back to my list view, it would be listed over there. So this is exactly how ServiceDesk Plus can integrate with Microsoft Teams. And with the integration, you could like perform collaborative chat communications between an end user from Teams with the technician and the help desk. And with the request list view, even a requester would get the same request view, and he or she could like add notes, reply to the ticket, and it would seamlessly go and get itself updated into ServiceDesk Plus. So this is how the integration works. Now it's quite curious, where would I configure it? So this is a common thing that I would always inform all my customers. Please go to this question mark, click on About, and see what is the build of ServiceDesk Plus you are in. Make sure you are upgrading it to the latest build, because this Teams integration is introduced in 11.2. So please make sure you upgrade, all right? And when you go to the admin tab, you have a lot of these integrations, of which you have Microsoft Teams, Actionable Messages, Calendar, Telephony, Jira. These are all the integrations that least. So the steps is like kind of detailed out in the help card, and trust me, it's quite easy to do it. I followed the same instructions and I was able to do that. Now, if you need help, you need assistance, well, we have our Inuit team, and you also have myself. So just let us know. We could happily help you with this integration. So this is where you do the integration. And once you do the integration, now we know that all the benefits that we get. So let's head back to our presentation. So what are the roadmap features that we are coming up for Teams? So two important features. You can do quick create request right from within Teams. So it's quite easy. Now that we have raise a request or raise an incident in Teams, it basically takes you to ServiceDesk Plus. Well, now with this feature that we are working on, it's quite easier that you could create a ticket right from within Teams. And just like that, for the approval action, no switching between tabs. It's not even going to open the pop-up into a new tab. Right from within Teams, you could just go ahead and take your approval action. So these are features that we are working on right now. So I hope you enjoyed the integration and how it works. If you haven't integrated, please go ahead and integrate. And if you need any assistance, as I said, we are there. We can happily help you out. Now, we are going to look into the actionable messages for Outlook. So what happens? So basically, you are all service desk technicians, right? You get a lot of emails into your Outlook, and looking into the email and switching between the application it's just a flip of a second, where a word comes in between and you forget what you were supposed to do, like either pick up a ticket or approve a ticket, or you were supposed to like add notes or view the resolution. You just literally missed it and it slipped your hands. Now, with ServiceDesk Plus Actionable Messages integration, what you basically do is that you could perform a couple of operations right from within your Outlook. So what are the things that we could do? You could add a note or resolve a ticket right from within your Outlook. And if you want to approve or reject, you could do it from your Outlook. Then you could like pick up tickets. You could still view the ticket details all from within one place in your Outlook actionable message. Now, these are features that is built based on certain framework. So that is the reason why there are like limited operations that's available right now. And it is only for the request-based operation. So to support more, we are planning to work on that area, and we are working on the API enhancements too. So with framework support and the APIs together, we would be able to support a lot of these features. And the prerequisites for the integration, again, it should have a valid certificate, it should be in HTTPS mode, and it should be publicly accessible. And also you could make use of the application proxy feature from Azure to host ServiceDesk Plus publicly. So the roles and permissions and the operations supported is again available in the presentation that has been added into the handout session. You could like make use of it. Now, with no further delay again, let's head into the actionable messages demo. So I am going to go right over here, and I am going to go to my mailbox, and this is my ServiceDesk Plus application. So we have a technician who's logged in, all right, and the technician is going to create a ticket. So let's quickly see what are all the things that is going to happen today. Now, this is an administrator, but I want to log in as a different person. Just gonna, okay, I could use administrator. Just gonna go to admin, and I'm gonna show you where the integrations are done. So as said before, in your admin console, the integrations for actionable messages is done right over here. It's kind of the same steps that you integrate with Azure and you configure it. So that is why Azure being a common place, you could perform the integrations between all these Microsoft applications, and you could use it into ServiceDesk Plus. So it's quite easy and straightforward. You could like literally do it following these steps, all right? So once the integrations are done, I'm just gonna check one thing because I locked this person before. Okay, account is unlocked. So I'm just gonna log in, Stern. So Stern is logging in. He is a technician, all right? And what Stern is going to do is that he's gonna create and work on tickets, and let's see what happens. So I'm gonna close all these pop-ups. So always do give a note to the pop-ups that you get. It's kind of useful information that you would need to use. So just go ahead, make use of those information over there. And I'm gonna create a ticket for Santa. And while I'm doing that, I'm just making sure I fill in all the details that is required. And once I create my ticket, we all know that there's a service catalog, and in service catalog, you could have approval workflows, you could have like a lot of approvals pre-configured on the template, or you could like even create approvals manually. So the ticket is created, and I'm just gonna send it for approval. Go to actions, submitted for approval, and this time it's a different approver. So I'll just go say user one. And while you're doing this, just keep in mind that if the requester and the technician are the same person, the system auto approves. So at that time, these notifications would not work. So just make sure you are aware about that. And I'm just gonna open another account because that is the account that we are gonna look into. So I'm like now logging into my Outlook. So a ticket has been created. Santa just created a ticket, and I'm just gonna log into my Outlook as well. All right. I'm logging into my Microsoft. So the moment I log in, as you're looking into my screen, all these pop-ups and all these notifications do come up into my screen. All right. Now with that, what I could do is that right from within my ticket, right from within the notifications I get, I could go ahead and perform a lot of operations. Okay, let us just wait for. All right. So just verifying the Outlook. Okay. So I'm just gonna like go over the notifications that we have. All right. So let's do this. Now, for this actionable messages to work, we need to make sure a couple of these notifications are enabled. So we are going to say, see what are they. All right. So under admin notification rules, we need to make sure the following notifications are enabled. Acknowledge requesters by email when a new request is received. So that notification has to be enabled, which is enabled right now. So this is the exact notification that would be sent to your Outlook through which you could add notes. So that is important. Then alert the following technicians by email when a new request is created. So this has to be enabled in order for the notifications to be triggered to the technician so that they could pick up the ticket. So these notifications is mandatory. Then alert technicians by email when a request is assigned. So this notification is for the pop-up to give you option to pick up the ticket. All right. So these are all a couple of these notifications that needs to be enabled if you wanted to perform few operations. Now, let's go ahead and check what are the other notifications. So right under your approval segment, you need to like enable the approval notifications in order for the approval email to be triggered. So only based, and this approval, you need to define it into your templates. So in your admin service catalog, you need to enable it on the template in order for the notification to be triggered. So now let's come back to our ticket and let's give it one last try as to why the notification wasn't triggered. Let's give this another try. I'm just gonna go check for approvals. There might be a delay, so I'm not sure why, but this is, so again, this is what I was saying. If the user and the technician are the same person, the system would not send the approval and it would approve it automatically. So that's something you need to disable if you are going to do it via your Outlook plugin. Okay, so this is not how it's supposed to work. So we'll just come back to this later, all right, and see what else could be done. I'm just going to verify one last information and let me create one other ticket. So I'm going to create a ticket for Santa. The values are filled in. Okay. And I click on add request. So the ticket is being created. The notifications are being triggered. The notifications are being triggered. Let me just try to submit it for approval. Okay, I guess I figured what happened. I'm sorry. So let me log in again. I think it didn't go into the right one. So I'm just logging in again. And here I'm logging into this account. So let's just, all right. Let me just check. Here are the tickets, and my apologies. So let this load. So it's just loading. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, got it. As you could see over here, this is how the actionable messages would look. So I would just like pick up this ticket. So this ticket was created, and whatever I did, so this is the ticket ID 24. I did pick it up right from my Outlook. And if I go into my help desk, if I go into my ticket, I would see this ticket being assigned to user one. So let's go into the application. And here we have request ID 24 that has been assigned to user one. And with these view details, I could just like get right into my ticket and its details. So these are actions that we triggered a while ago. So right from here, okay, sorry, there was a miscommunication on the email addresses. Now we are back on track. So I could just literally approve. And again, please provide a comment. I just put the comment, I click on approve. So this is request ID 23, which is not yet approved. So if we head back to the application, right into 23, we could now see the status of this approval. So this is exactly how the our actionable messages work from right from within your Outlook into your ServiceDesk Plus. So as you could see, the ticket has now been approved. So this is how we have the actionable messages configured for from ServiceDesk Plus with your Outlook. And these are the operations that you could do. And also you could add notes, all right? And also you could go ahead and approve. You could like go ahead, view the ticket details. So these are all the operations that you could do between ServiceDesk Plus and your Outlook actionable messages. So right now, these operations are only supported for the request-based operations. We are working on other modules as and when the framework and the APIs are fully available, it would be integrated and released in ServiceDesk Plus. So let's go back to our presentation then. Now, the third part of our agenda is about Microsoft Calendar. All right. So when you have like a lot of applications, the challenge that I personally have seen with the customers is that they have a calendar which has leaves and everything scheduled, but it's just that when you come into ServiceDesk Plus, the challenge is no one knows who's available, and they had to switch between teams, switch between your Microsoft Calendar and get to know who's available and who's not. Well, now IT services coordinators or managers had these difficulties and they don't have enough information on hand. with all these challenges, it became a lot more challenging to delegate approvals, to delegate the tickets between the users, and so on. So with ServiceDesk Plus and with Outlook calendar integration, you could like easily make these integrations seamless so that any leaves that you add or manage or delete on calendar or in ServiceDesk Plus, it gets synced vice versa. So let's take a quick look at what are the features we support. You could basically sync all the leaves between ServiceDesk Plus and Outlook, just like that. All right. And then you could like also the invites that you do on Teams, like any calendar invites that you do in Teams, will automatically get added right into your ServiceDesk Plus. So basically, when someone is like creating a schedule and you wanted to know who is available and not, that is something you could literally do with Teams as well. So when an event is created in Teams, it gets, sorry, when someone is not available in ServiceDesk Plus, that information is shared to Teams so that when someone is scheduling an event, they pretty much know who's available and not. So that would help them to get an idea when they wanted to schedule it because the person is unavailable. So based on which you could take your decisions. So here are like a couple of prerequisites again, all right? So it's almost the same, it's just that the roles would vary a little bit and what are the operations that we support, that also varies. Now, here's what you need to know. So leaves from out of office events in Microsoft will be synced with ServiceDesk Plus. So that is something you need to note, all right? The operations that we support is like add, edit, or delete. Now, with no further delay, let's go into our session and start looking into our integration with Teams. So let's go over here. Now I need to access the calendar. So I need to log in again. So let me just quickly log in. I am just verifying. So I have my service desk over here. So under admin, sorry, under the home tab, you have your scheduler over here. Now, just in case, like right on the week before the last week, I'm just gonna apply a leave and I'm gonna say, so I go ahead and create my leave. I choose my dates. I mark myself as leave. All right. So the calendar sync, let me just check if this is the right login I'm using or if I should just change the login. All right, I'm just gonna quickly sign out and sign in. Right. Yes. So let me check. So I'm logging in and I'm just signing in right now. So I'm going right into my Outlook, and over here I have my calendar on the left pane. I click on my calendar. So let's take a quick look. Okay, let's try the other way around. So I'm just gonna mark myself as lead. So while I am doing that, I need to make sure I enable all day. And all right, so I need to, when I'm creating a leave, I need to make sure I choose away from the drop down and I choose all day. And I have to say from which date I would not be available. All right, so when I say this, And when I choose the title, like, so when I give in the details, I click on save, the leave that is marked in Teams would now be synced right into ServiceDesk Plus. Now we just need to see what in ServiceDesk Plus should also be filled in. I'm just gonna check the account. Let me quickly go to home. Let me also refresh the Teams calendar. A little bit of slowness. So this instance is hosted on our servers. So I'm just going to wait for the okay. I'm just going to check. Not sure what changed, but let's just quickly take a look. And also in the meantime, I'm just going to check into my Teams. Sorry about this, folks. It's just like it looks like a little bit of a slowness. I'm not sure why and where. We still have our connection. Okay, I know what mistake I did over here as well. I switched between accounts. I'm just going to log in. Okay.com. One last try on the login, because now this would also not work because I just switched to a different login altogether. Okay, so this is and I have logged in as user one, teams.microsoft.com. Okay, I'm just click on calendar. And okay, let's check this one last time. Sorry about the accounts and the slowness. So let me just go into my calendar. All right, so here it is. So the moment you add an event in ServiceDesk Plus, that same event is going to be added right into your Microsoft calendar as well. Now, in the same calendar, I could do the same operations vice versa. So all I need to do is that I need to create an event, and while I'm doing it, I need to choose away, and I need to choose all day. And then I'm going to say team lunch, and I click on save. So these two things are important. It needs to be away, and it needs to be all day. So this has to be cautiously set. So when we set that, it would also be automatically reflected into ServiceDesk Plus. So I'm just gonna refresh, or we could use this tab over here. So this is how the leaves between ServiceDesk Plus and your Outlook would be synced. And again, this is again a leave. So as you could see here, or whatever a leave I've added in Teams is listed over here. If I just edit this, I would get the pop-up like it's team lunch. All right. And if in case I just go ahead and delete the leaves, if I just go ahead and like delete the leaves will also be synced automatically between both these applications. So you saw that I deleted the leave in ServiceDesk Plus and removed the same into the calendar as well. Now, this is where we also discussed that if there is a leave marked in ServiceDesk, that would also get synced right into your calendar as well. So you saw the leave that was applied in Outlook got added into ServiceDesk. Since it was in ServiceDesk and it was integrated to Teams, it is reflecting in Teams as well. So this would help the technicians who is working on the Teams to understand if that person is available or if that person is on leave or if there's something else. So this is how the calendar integration with ServiceDesk Plus have helped many clients. So what is the primary challenge that I find in most of the customers is like two. One is the upgrade of the application to the latest version because they stay outdated and not knowing what are the integrations and features we offer. Two is that unifying the solutions between these two products is just going to help do away with the siloed structure. You don't need to like have it siloed anymore. You could like literally work with between these solutions seamlessly. All right. So these are the important things that I always find as a difficulty, and that is what we are primarily trying to address during our today's session. Now, we're going to discuss a couple of these technical aspects where I'm not going to definitely show you how the integration is going to be done. I'm just going to show you what are the benefits you get. So we have SAML single sign-on. And again, you have a prerequisite that's available over here, which is like Azure authentication requires ServiceDesk Plus to be configured in an HTTPS mode. Now, for G Suite authentication, it requires the application to be accessible from a hosted public domain. So for Azure, it's HTTPS. For G Suite, again, it's in hosted public domain. So this is something we need to make sure we are cautious about. Now, let's take a look at what are the other important items that's required. So the roles, do not make a note of the roles, like it's not the same as everything. It's like almost the same. There are few variations in the roles. What are the operations that we support? Now, you could configure SAML single sign-on using Azure, G Suite, OneLogin, ADFS, Okta, and there are other IDPs that we currently support. So only certain things we have tested right out of the box, and we have those options right out of the box that we do. The others are tested, we have customers using it. So if you want those integrations, we can help you out. Now, as you saw before, so this is Chrome, this is my Firefox. Let me just try to bring this up so that we have other browsers too. So this is Firefox at incognito. I'm just going to close this out. Now, again, let me take you to ESM directory. Oh, there's no ESM, but let me go to admin, and let me take you to SAML single sign-on, which is under admin, and you look for SAML, you have your SAML single sign-on. So it is done right out of the box in ServiceDesk Plus, and here's your configurations that you require. All right. Now, using SAML single sign-on, you could basically minimize the login. So when you log out and log in, you could basically minimize how it needs to be. And again, when you're logging out, you could log out from ServiceDesk Plus. So I'm just going to log out from ServiceDesk Plus. And I'm just going to quickly see what is the login I've used over here. So I could literally collapse how this should be. And that is something you could do when you are configuring your SAML. So you could literally say collapse the login. All right. Now, if I'm just going to log in using my SAML, it is just going to verify my Microsoft account. And once it verifies, it takes me right into ServiceDesk Plus. So earlier I logged in using my administrator account, and now I'm logging in through my SAML. So when I'm trying to log out today, it not only asks me to log out of ServiceDesk Plus, it also asks you to log out from your SAML. So these are two options that you could get, all right, when you are using SAML single sign-on. Now, the other one is that you could reorder your authentication mechanism. So it's quite simple, right? When you're logging in, which one that you wanted to bring up first, you could literally configure it. So where is it done? So I'm just going to take you to admin, and in admin, you have your requester portal configuration. So I'm just going to take you to the self-service portal settings. And over here, you have a space where you could configure your requesters portal. So customization, and I'm going to say customize your login page. So this is your login page customization. So these are options that is out of the box. All right. When you're doing that, all right, the entity that you have over here, this one, is exactly what I've mentioned in my presentation. You just literally swap the bold points. So this one that says like login form or SAML, if you just like move these, interchange these two, it gets done. So all you have to do is just remove this one, it goes out, and then you just have to like put it over here, remove this one, and then I'm just gonna insert it. So this way, as you just saw, the items are interchanged. So it's basically customer's convenience what you wanted to use first. And not just you could interchange this, as I showed before, you could just go ahead and disable this and the options collapses. So that's something you could make use of. So this is like operations that we support. Now, again, as I said before, you could choose to log out yourself from Service Desk or from your SAML too. So that is possible. Then the other thing is that you could choose the suitable name ID format. Now, here's the tip. Make sure you are upgrading to the latest, because over here, the name ID format is not available in version 11.2, I guess. It's available only in the latest version, and we recommend you to use the email address. All right. So what are its benefits? Like, how does this actually work? Now, we suggest the email addresses, and it is always the primary email address that we consider. So just make sure you choose the name ID format as email address. Now, if you choose transient or persistence, it's the login name, and the expected format should be domain / the username. So this is the format it should be, only then it will work. Now, unspecified, now it verifies the user's principal name in the AD. So make sure the users are imported before you proceed with the SAML configuration. That is important. So these are all the kind of elements that you should notice before you go ahead and configure your SAML single sign-on. Now, we just saw the demo parallelly as well with SAML single sign-on and how it works. And again, make sure if the user is not there in ServiceDesk Plus, all right, you get an error message called 60, which basically says the user is not available over there. And you would also be getting an error called 61, which is basically the user will be a single user, but without a login. So if the user does not have a login, the error code is 61. So it again redirects you back to the user. Either the user might not be there, which is 60. 61 is like the user might not have a login. That is the reason. And if you have more than one user with the same email address, then the system would give out an error call 62, error code 62. So these are 3 error codes that you should know, which is for the SAML single sign-on. Now, finally, the OAuth that we wanted to discuss. OAuth is nothing but it's just an extra privilege that Microsoft offers that you could make use of. Now we have POP and IMAP services that you could configure for your mail server. And right now for your Exchange Web Access, you have OAuth that we support, and you could configure your mail server using that as well. All right, so you could choose between POP IMAP, POP S or IMAP S, and then you could choose between Exchange Web Service, and using which you could configure your mail options. So there is also these discussions to support like to retire POP and IMAP. So that's the reason why we introduced EWS, which you could use for configuration and authentication. So this is exactly what we wanted to discuss in our today's webinar on how ServiceDesk Plus integrates with Microsoft suite of products. So we integrate with ServiceDesk Plus, like with Microsoft Teams. We integrate with Outlook mails through actionable messages. We integrate with Outlook Calendar, all right? And also when an event is added into ServiceDesk Plus or through Outlook Calendar, that would also get synced right into your Teams calendar, because ServiceDesk is also integrated with Teams. So this way, if someone is scheduling a leave on Teams, they get to know which is like who's available and who's not available. And finally, we saw how SAML authentication makes a whole lot of difference for users, and what are all the benefits you get out of it. So right now, we are at the end of our today's webinar. So if you have any questions, please feel free to go ahead, post them, and I'll be happy to answer you all.
Great, thanks, Santos.
Thank you, Eric.
We got some few questions. We don't have that much time to answer them all, but I think we'll just do it in an email. But let me choose some of them, because we have 3 minutes left. We try to keep it in the time frame. Hi, does the integration work with on-premise installation of ServiceDesk, assuming it's publicly available?
Yes, this is the on-premises version where the integration happens. So what you exactly saw is ServiceDesk Plus on-premises. The only prerequisite is it should be on HTTPS mode, and it should have it should be publicly available. So these are the two requisites the on-premise installation should have, because we have most of our customers, like I would say 95% of our customers have ServiceDesk Plus on-premises running on HTTPS, and they have a valid certificate installed. And those customers also use Teams or Microsoft solutions, but we don't integrate. Now that we found the solution, we are now having a lot of customers who are switching to the integration part, or also on the other hand, moving ServiceDesk Plus to the public network too, by doing an HTTPS configuration. So yes, what you saw is for ServiceDesk Plus on-premises.
I also got a question regarding the change calendar.
Got it. So I was expecting that question. So as I said, right now it's only done for the request calendar, like the scheduler works with the request calendar. Now the change calendar is totally separate, and that has its own framework. So we are yet to bring support for that, but we do have plans to support change calendar sync with Outlook calendar and the vice versa.
Okay. There is some more questions, but I think we're kind of trying to hold the schedule, and it's 11 now, and yeah, we will answer them by email. No worries, guys.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you so much, Santos. Please, guys, leave some feedback when you close the webinar. That's always good for us to know something. And stay tuned for some more. It won't be anything before the summer, but Marcus, our marketing guy, will soon deliver an email, and we are The planning outcome, what it looks like now is for customization of the self-service portal, how you can do all of these kind of things with where all the files should be placed and stuff like that. Right, Santos?
Yes, Eric, we are planning for that. So that is also going to be a lot more interactive session where you're going to see what are the flavors you could do it and what are the things we support.
Exactly. Okay, guys, we're gonna let you back to work. So nice to see that so many people signed up and will attendee. This is recorded, so don't worry. You will get the link for the recording in just after this webinar as soon as possible, and we will try to answer your question as soon as possible afterwards now too. Okay, guys, have a great day. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Santos. See you guys later.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.